Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 4 here in the Happy Space Prison. We had a goal of getting by cycle 40 to the point where we had our hatch ranches full. And we've done that. We have 7 in each one. We also have started setting up our nursery down here. This is our automation. And I set it up now, even though we don't have the ability to do the mechanized stuff, the mechatronics stuff, because we can still take some advantage from this here. So just to go over kind of how this is working now, we have, these are full. The priorities, I'm actually going to change some of these here. I want this to be 9, 8, 7, and 6, because I want these to take priority over other commands when I'm moving hatches. But when we're not moving hatches around, it won't matter. But basically, I don't want to have to leave this door open longer than we have to. So right now, what'll happen is these hatches are going to hatch. I'll open this door and turn this to sweep only. That way they don't keep moving the eggs. And then I can wrangle up the hatches. When a rancher picks one of the hatches up, he's going to take that hatch, and if there's a space in this room, he's going to put it in here. If not, he'll check here and then here. And then finally, he'll put him here. This little guy here, you can see, is down here. When he were to grow up to be an adult, he'll jump down into this room. And this automation is set up. So if he jumps down in there, the doors close, and that makes it so that the he'll evolve into meat as soon as he jumps down in. We don't have to wait. In the future, the eggs are going to get delivered here. So right now, the eggs are getting moved manually up here. When we get the Mechatronics Engineer and we can do this, these sweepers are going to send the eggs down straight away. They're going to get stored here, and this sweeper will keep these incubators stocked. And even though we're not powering them, the reason they're there is because as soon as they hatch, a rancher will come in here. He's going to grab that guy, and he's going to say, okay, we need a home for him. He's going to look here, and then here, here, and then finally here. That means that we can keep our ranches stocked with our ranchers, even though we're not powering the incubator. And these 4 will be more than enough to keep our 3 ranches stocked, so they always have 7 hatches. So what we need to do still is get our duplicants skilled up so that they can do the mechatronics. And so we're working on that. Meemaw is our guy. We need to get to the point where we can get this skill. Currently 1554 out of 8474. So what I want to focus on is, and I started doing some of it, is we're digging out some more of these rooms. I'm going to continue working on that just so we have stuff for our duplicates to do for a little bit. Actually, I don't want to go across the solid tiles. I'm just going to leave them for now. I'm just going to put in ladders in the spots where they're not. And we're going to clear out 1 row at a time and just get all these tiles moved out, because we now have enough oxygen generation. We can get this whole starting biome cleared out and full. And I'm not worried about the thermal mass problem because A, the temperatures around aren't too bad, and if they leach in a little bit, I'm not running any plants yet. And by the time I do get set up to run plants, I'll be able to control the temperature exactly how. That's our hope anyway. So we're going to leave this to go, and we're going to have everything get dug out here. The other focus I'm going to work on is, right now we're running the entire base off of this 1 manual generator with 2 small batteries. I want to get into a little bit better with our power. So one thing I'm going to do is start this research to get the smart battery, because smart batteries lose a lot less power. They have very slightly lose charge over time. And that is true as compared to the small batteries and the jumbo batteries. Much, much, much better. So we want to get that. And then we're going to move our power generation up above. And I'm just going to make it so that there's 2 manual generators and power up there, so we can connect it to everything, because we're going to need a little bit more power than we're currently producing once we get the mechatronics up and running. So those are our 2 goals. I'm going to start with that right now, because we can put this up here. Let's do manual generator. Manual generator will leave space for our battery to go here, and we'll connect this like this. For now, that'll make it so that this gets charged up super fast. And the other thing I want to work on probably while we're doing this is maybe switching over to a better bathroom system. I'm not sure exactly where I want to do that. I might move this stuff down here so that we can have the kitchen near where the eggs are. That might be a better idea. We're still currently producing a few more mush bars just to keep things going. But what I can actually do is take out this hatchling, because eventually he's going to grow up into an adult and turn into meat anyway. Might as well do it now. But so we're just going to keep focusing on a bunch of little things like that and keep going. I think it's going to probably take another 15 cycles or so before we get enough skill points or enough XP for Meemaw to install this. But once we do, and we get the mechatronics up and running, so the sweepers and the conveyor loaders are all doing their job, we'll be able, we won't, but we will be able to just let it go and we'll get the Carnivore achievement. So then anything we do will just be to improve it, get it done faster, and get started on our other tasks. Another 5 cycles have passed. We're at cycle number 45, and as far as Meemaw goes, she is now about halfway to where we need her to be to get that mechatronics, which is fine. We are doing okay with this. I just have another hatch that has hatched, and I want to show you basically how this works. So the semi-automated method here is you switch this door to auto, which opens it, and you switch the sweeper to, or the dispenser to sweep only, so that way once the door's open, they don't try to move all these eggs up. And then as soon as you open the door, you set a high priority command to collect that hatch and move them down. And like I said, they'll prioritize the upper ones first. So in this case, all of these are full. It's going to bring that hatch and move it down here. But all we really want is to get it out of this room so we can lock the door back up, set this back on to not sweep only so that they get all the eggs out. And that's our process. Every time we have a hatch or two in the room there, we do that, move them down, and then they get turned into barbecue. And right now we have 15,000 meat that is not being cooked. So we need to increase the priority of our kitchen. I did move that down here. I'm also going to turn this off again, because I think now with the meat that's coming in regularly, we should be okay. We can always turn that back on if we run low on food, but I think we'll be all right. So it looks like our rancher Nicola is going over to grab this hatch, and as soon as they get moved back out, we'll switch that back and we'll continue on doing the thing. Other projects I'm working on are just clearing out the map. We've gotten most of it done over here and over here, and that's just to give us some space to work. I want to get the starting biome. I want to work in going down into this section as well, but I need to get some deodorizers and stuff set up before we do that so it doesn't fill the base with polluted oxygen. Not that that would hurt us too much. We'd get a little bit of slime lung. We'd get a little bit of yucky lungs from it, but we'd be fine. On the Terra asteroid, it's not going to cause us too many troubles. But I want to get this hollowed out, mostly because I want to have the space to put all the polluted water together, because I want to go up here and drain these pools here and get them all down together to get this section all done so we can go in and tear up this biome next. So I'm basically going to work my way from the bottom up and let all the polluted water drain down into here, and that's how we're going to handle it. So once we get this cleared up, we'll do that. Other projects also, I now have the space. I'm going to put our permanent bathroom up here above our bedroom, so we'll work on that. And I want to work on building our nature reserve. We have everything we need to do it. I just need to build a room for it, so I have to move a few things around down here. So I'm going to move the oxygen generation, and I'm going to remove the batteries because I'm putting in the smart battery, and then we'll remove this. Then I can close off the rooms. Basically, I'm going to do doors around this room to enclose it so that it's a room that's 120 blocks. I'm going to move this oxygen diffuser over. We'll have a couple of them in that main hallway so that they're diffusing oxygen all through our base area. And then we'll, once it's enclosed and it's the right size, we'll bring our pip in and have him plant plants on all these tiles from the top to the bottom. And then we'll put in a park sign, and it'll become a nature reserve because there's going to be 4 plants growing, and we'll be all set. I think I want to try to get thimbleweed seeds to put in there because, you know, having extra thimbleweeds growing wild is never going to hurt us once we get to Atmos suits. So that is the goal. Before we got a chance to switch that, we had 2 more hatches hatched. So we'll grab those quick, and then we'll switch that back, and we'll get back to working on the various projects. It's a lot of just little things going on, but we need Meemaw continuing to do work so that she gets more XP, and running on a generator is perfect. So that's what she's mostly been doing. It's getting her plenty of XP. So we'll check back in probably another 5 cycles once Meemaw has reached the point where she can start installing our Mechatronics stuff. Another 5 cycles down and some more progress. We're at cycle 50. I'm going to slow things down for a minute and take a look at what we have done. So we have our power being run by 2 manual generators. Looks like we need somebody up there running. Let me check the priorities of that. Oh, it looks like they're fine. Somebody's on their way to them. We just had a shift change. I built a room in here. You can see it's 108 tiles. It has 4 oxygen diffusers in it. I also put deodorizers on every level. And that's because there's just a lot of polluted oxygen that's already made its way in. Down here, I added a few more. I'm in the process anyway. And that's to clean up these layers below. And then all the polluted oxygen that's down here that we're about to release will work its way past these deodorizers. And before it goes up into our base, it will get clean. And these don't use a lot of power. They're very light, and they only run when they're cleaning. So I'm fine with having a bunch of those all over the place. We have been continuing to get our hatches out of this room. We're still sitting on 43 regular hatch eggs and a couple of variant. And we've been getting barbecue consistently. Enough that I turned off my mush bar maker. And we've been eating pretty much nothing but barbecue since we switched over. So let's take a quick look at cycle 50 and see where we're at. In the colony summary, under the Carnivore achievement, we currently have 44,000 calories consumed from meat, which is basically we've been solidly on meat for all 8 of our duplicates for 5 cycles. Where we can continue to keep that up. It'll get even easier once we set up the automation. And we only need to do 350,000 more. We do about 8,000 calories per cycle, which is like 45 more cycles. We're currently at cycle 50. So we're in the range to do it. And it will speed up once we have the automation. We don't have duplicates going back and forth, because a lot of times right now where eggs are sitting in hatcheries when they shouldn't. So our egg production is down. And also, we're just starting to have our eggs hatch from all the ones that we've piled up here. Of those 43 eggs, only a few have hatched because the production early on was less. As we get farther on, we'll have more consistent production, and those eggs will be hatching regularly and will automatically be turning into meat when we don't need the eggs anywhere else. And so that'll get even better. So I think that we'll be well on target to get our Carnivore achievement done. The other thing I did to make this room is I closed it off with doors, and I have them all closed because we're going to be moving our Pip up here. So we're going to relocate him to this top tile first, and then I want to find a seed to bring up there. I was hoping to have some thimbleweed seeds. So let me see if I have any around. Well, the best way I think to do that is I'm going to bring out a storage bin. We're just going to sit it right here. And then once that's built, I'll set it to thimbleweed seeds. We can bring all the ones we have around the base. Right now, we have access to 19 of them. So we have enough that I can plant a thimbleweed on each of these tiles, which is exactly what. So once we do that and we put in a park sign, we'll be able to do that. Actually, I'm going to have to remove this one. I'm going to leave it there until we're ready, but we'll remove that one and make that the park sign, because we need to have the ability to do that. I guess I could actually remove this and put airflow tiles on this side, because they don't actually pass through there. That's the best way to do it. And then I have a space to put a dedicated park sign. But that'll make this a nature reserve. And what that means is because all of our duplicants are going through this room every day when they come out of their barracks or they come out of the bathroom, which we're going to be putting in up here, or is currently right here, they're going to hit that nature reserve every day. And that's going to give them an extra 6 morale. Go down so you can see it. 6 morale for doing the nature reserve. That's pretty impressive. It's going to do more morale than our mess hall, our barracks, and our latrine have already done. So that's impressive. And since we're pushing into getting into high level skills like mechatronics, we want to firm up our morale for our dupes. I'm also working on the research right now to finish up for the bathroom and other liquid stuff. It looks like we have the stuff to put in the bathroom. So let's do that now. We're going to put in a bathroom that uses, let's see, medicine. We want sinks. I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3 sinks. I'm also going to put in 3 lavatories. And I'm going to put in 2 showers. The showers, in general, I don't think they're worth running, but they're nice. And they're, it's a nice thing for our dudes. What you get out of them is not really worth what you put into them. But, you can debate that. I'm gonna run them. So what we're gonna need to do is get a source of water coming in. So we're gonna go down here and go up from here to our base, then just up through the center. We'll come through and we'll install lines here. Means we're gonna want to replace these tiles that I'm putting the pipes through. I think I'll leave a door here on the end. You know what? I'm actually going to close it off because I just turn off that door anyway down here. And then I'll just put up a ladder so that our duplicants will be able to get up to this level if they need to get over here to do some stuff. That way they only come in from the one way. They always go back out past the bathroom. Another thing I need to check is the status of our locavore achievement. We're at 336 out of 400,000. Why that's important is I want to be able to plant a hydroponic farm. Not for growing food, because we're getting that from our hatches, but I want to be able to plant one out here where our polluted water is sent to. And that way the polluted water from our bathroom can immediately be turned into thimbleweed. I'm going to go like this. Now I want to be careful. I do not want to go over those natural tiles because it will up. But we're just going to run this down all the way to here. And then down in this room is where we're starting to build our polluted water area. And so I'm going to put in a vent here. And so the polluted water from our bathroom can just go straight down here. Last thing we need to do to get this running is put in a liquid pump. Connect the liquid pump up to bring fresh water in for the bathrooms. And then run a wire from here up, connect right over. So once all that construction is done, our bathroom will be done, and we can remove this latrine. That'll also increase our morale. And the only other thing we need to do is continue to wait until we have enough to get Meemaw Mechatronics, and she's so close. So another couple cycles will be there. And then we'll be able to switch on the automation here. We'll remove this, and we can have a base that theoretically that could run until, like, the next problem we would have is either we're going to run out of algae, we're going to run out of water, which is, we have quite a bit. It'll take some time. Or we'll run out of rock to feed our hatches. But other than that, we can go. So a base like this, once this is set up, we'll be able to go probably for 1,000 cycles before we run into a serious issue. So this is a really good solid start at cycle 50. We'll get the Carnivore achievement. We'll get the Locavore achievement. And we could just run like this and just experiment and play around as much as we want. We're going to push into setting up oxygen from water, taking some of these water sources we have found, like this saltwater geyser here or this steam vent, and setting up renewable water sources. And it's in quick because the hatches there don't have access right. And then also setting up an electrolyzer system will start burning off hydrogen for power, which means we can get super sustainable done. So that's the path we're going to take. But once you have a setup like this, you'd have a solid way to just play the game and experiment for many, many cycles. So I'm going to let them finish up this construction. We'll get everything put in place. We'll work on getting some things planted for our nature reserve, and just keep on getting skill XP for Mima's skill point so we can finish up the rest of our construction. We're still working and making progress on our construction, but Mima has gotten her skill point, cycle 52. So we can put Mechatronics Engineering into her skill set, give her her Mechatronics Engineer hat, and as we already have everything lined out for her to build, and because we did that, they've already delivered most of it, it's just a matter of waiting for her to get around, going around and placing all these. So I'm going to take all the Mechatronics construction tasks here, and I'm going to make them priority 7 because I want to be done with them. The other thing I'm going to do is deconstruct this tile because there's a power wire there they need to get to. I also want to add in a temporary thing in here where I'm going to put this. We're going to need a little bit more refined metal for it. But I want to put in a conveyor loader up here so that once we get this all set up, I can just turn this on and it will automatically move all of our eggs down into storage down. Because I don't want to have to move everything by hand. Just because I think it'll be more fun to watch them all go down all at once. So a little bit of extra work to do a little bit of fun. So now that the stuff is queued up, we just have to wait for Mima to get to it and get it done, and we'll be all fully automated on our hatches. Let's take another moment to check in and see where we're at. With Carnivore, we have reached 63,000. So over the 2 cycles, we used another almost 19,000 calories of food, which makes sense. We have 8 duplicants that eat 1,000 per cycle. We actually have 2 that also eat an extra 500. So that's 9,000 calories per cycle. And so that means we have consistently delivered barbecue. So that's all they ate for 2 cycles. So for the remaining 49 cycles, they're going to eat 9,000 calories a cycle if we can keep barbecue up. And that's going to give us 405,000 additional calories. We only need 337,000 more. Doing math while you're recording is not easy. I think I got it right. That'll get us to Carnivore for sure. It'll actually get us there probably 7 cycles early, which is good. But we'll see that continue to speed up, I believe, as we go. As we get this finished, we can move on to having our bathrooms finished up as well, and we have started to do some construction down here too. We're making good progress. I'm going to let it finish up so that I can show you the automation working fully the way we want it to before we end out this episode. But we'll be well on our way to Carnivore. So we've actually finished up 2 constructions both at the same time. And I want to show you what is happening here. So first, let's look at the mechatronics. Now that it's in place, it's very simple. I have some eggs down here already that got moved down. You can see right there, there's 2 of them. Up here, we're loading up all the eggs that have been sitting here into this conveyor loader. And I could have moved them all by hand, but I thought it was more fun to watch this long train of eggs gets in. So it's loading them up as fast as it can, and it's moving them down. That means from now on, any eggs that are laid in here will get shipped down here and held in this spot. That's going to make it so that when these incubators need an egg, this sweeper will automatically pull one out and put it in. When these hatch, duplicants will come and take them and stock up these 3 rooms first. And then after those are full, they'll drop the hatch off here. As the hatch gets older, or if one hatches inside, perfect timing, one of the eggs hatched right in. It trips this sensor, closes this door, and then our hatch will be confined and drowned, and it will evolve into meat. That meat from here can be picked up and taken over to here. I'll probably end up putting in a conveyor loader here to move the meat over just to make it easier eventually, but it's not a priority. So now our food processing is all automated. There's nothing left that we need to do to move the stuff. These eggs, when they hatch, will turn into meat. They'll get put in here to keep everything stocked up. And if there is any excess that hatch here that don't have a home to go to, they'll get placed here. Over 5 cycles, they'll turn into an adult. They'll jump down into this hole, and they'll get turned into meat as well. We can leave our food alone. All we have to do is stock up sandstone, and we're set. As I said, as we start digging things out, we're going to get sedimentary rock. We'll switch this over slowly to stone hatchlings to make this process even better. The big difference from hatches and stone hatches, just so you understand why we want to do that, is hatches eat sand and sandstone and other things and give us coal. If we look up our stone hatchlings, our stone hatches can do the same thing, but they can eat things like igneous rock and obsidian, granite, and they can also eat metals and turn them into refined metals, though I don't recommend that. It's not very efficient. They still give us the same amount of food. And then they will give us stone hatch eggs. So basically the idea is we can use igneous rock, which is we'll have a ton of it, and we can eventually make it renewable if we want to. Stay on hatches forever. So that's the whole process. But for now, the next 50 cycles towards the carnivore achievement, all we have to do is keep ranching these guys so they stay tamed and laying eggs fast. The eggs will stockpile, they'll turn into meat, and then we have a cook that cooks them. And every once in a while, we'll have to bring in some sandstone to stock these up. That's all we have to do. The other construction we finished is that our pump here got finished. So we have water going up to our base up here. Our duplicants can now use the plumbed bathroom. Let's fix those so that they're facing the right way. They'll come in and use the bathroom. They'll take showers when they have downtime, and they'll wash their hands. And the polluted water gets sent out down here, and it will get dropped off into this place where it will start filling up in our polluted water tank. Eventually, when Locavore is finished, we're going to switch that out so that we have this polluted water just running to a tiny little farm here that's going to make Thimble. Last thing we did is we got our pip in here planting. So we have thimble reeds in here. I just have ladders blocking the spaces above these because I need them planted in a specific order to make sure that the pip can see that he can plant. So when this ladder gets removed, this spot will become available. He'll grab a seed, he'll bring it down and plant it. Once we get all 4 done, this room will be finished and it will be a nature reserve. We just need 4 wild plants growing. So that's all of our projects are finished. We're good to go. As far as the nature reserve goes, our pip has planted 3 out of 4 of our plants. I have a ladder here blocking this one because I wanted him to plant them in a certain order. Once somebody removes this ladder, we'll be done with that and we'll be able to get him to plant the last one. You can see right now, all we're waiting for is that 4th wild plant to be planted, and we'll have a nature reserve. So then all of our rooms will be done. We'll have a washroom instead of a latrine. We still have a barracks. We have a mess hall, and we'll have the morale from here. And that will make sure that we have plenty of morale for our current needs for quite some time. Like I said, this is automating the process of making meat. So we don't need to focus on that. We'll be able to focus on some other projects going forward, but basically we just have to wait out the time that it's going to take for them to eat all that barbecue, and we're good. We don't need to bring in any more duplicates. We can if we want. I think I will only bring people in if I have a need and find a good duplicate at this point. And then we'll be set. So what I'm going to focus on now is removing this old bathroom so that they use the new one, and just slowly working my way through to get everything done here and just keep a monitor on it to make sure that we get the things done as we need them. I can also remove this because we no longer need it. It was just there to do that little train of eggs coming from the top. You can see another egg just hatched or got laid here, got immediately picked up and one down here as well is getting dropped off. So we're sitting on 44 hatch eggs, 46 now. And as you can see, they're automatically, pretty regularly, hatching, turning into meat. So our food is going to continue to just stockpile. We also got some lucky omelets from the printing pod, so we're eating that as well. But we're entirely on a meat-based diet now. It's just a matter of whether we can keep up enough meat coming in every cycle, which is only 8,000 calories, technically 9 because of the bottomless stomach. So we need 3 hatches to hatch every cycle. As it takes 20 cycles for an egg to hatch, we'll be confident that we can do that when we get up to 60 eggs in here. But I am sure that we have enough right now, and the numbers are continuing to increase, that we'll be able to make it to Carnivore. So I'm going to call it an episode right here. We have done quite a bit. We finished up the advanced automation for our nursery. We've also put in a proper bathroom for our duplicants. We switched over to a little bit better power using the smart battery. We have also, I think that actually we just hit it, just planted it. We got our nature reserve, which is really going to kill us on that morale. We're going to be set. We have no problem now keeping morale up, and we continue to expand. And like I said, if you are someone who is newer to the game, if you can get to this point where you have an automated food source, you have bathrooms that are going to be running on regular water, and ideally you can make it so it's self-sustainable. Another option is to have this water cleaned and sent back in, and then just put them in the excess. That uses up sand, and frankly, I'm not worried about it. I have enough water sources already that I'd be fine. But there's lots of options to do that. If you were to use a water sieve, you can clean the water, and the bathrooms produce more polluted water than the water that they use. So you can set it up so that there's a net excess that just gets burned off in thimbleweed. That way you don't even have to pump water in. But I'm confident I have enough water. I'm not going to worry about it. So there's lots of ways to do it, but once you get to this point, whether your food source is hatches because you're doing the carnivore or because they're a pretty good food source, or you set up a food source that is plants, you can get yourself a lot of breathing room and just take your time and learn how to play with some of the other systems that we're going to be going forward into playthrough. And we've already knocked out a good handful of achievements. Royal Flush is the new one we just got for putting in the plumbed bathrooms. But we're making good progress on everything as we go. So as far as the achievements go, I don't think it's going to take us too long to get all of those finished on the base game. And then we can come up with some long-term goals to get a mega base going here and have some fun with it. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I'm excited that we've made it this far early in the game, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.